Hey everybody, I'm Rylee Peacock. Welcome back to week 2 of the Adult Summer Reading Program. Today we have paper flowers in store for all of you, and it's going to be a really fun little project, and I hope you all enjoy. But I'm going to tell you what you're going to grab out of your take and make bags, and then we're going to set up and get this started. Alright, in front of me here I have the kit for the paper flowers that should be in your take and make bag. Looks a little something like this, and inside you're going to have a few sheets of different colored paper. Yours may be a little bit different colored than mine, but that's alright. You're going to have a couple pipe cleaners, some wooden skewers, a glue stick, and some floral tape wrapped around a little popsicle stick. You can actually just set that bag aside. We are not going to be needing it for this craft today, and I'm just going to set up really quick and then we're going to get started. So really quick, you are not going to have scissors included in your kit, but if you have them at home, I highly suggest you go grab a pair because they will come in handy later. You may not need to use them because you may find that you want your paper to be this size, but it is going to come in handy when you have to cut your pipe cleaners and your floral tape. But for now, I'm just going to set all of these aside, paper and everything else, and I'm actually just going to start by wrapping my skewers with this floral tape, and this, I will need the scissors for this. So we're going to get started with this first skewer, and I'm just going to very carefully take my floral tape and just start wrapping it around my skewer. You want to kind of go at an angle in order to cover your skewer completely, just like this. And then after you get to the end, just snip it with your scissors and set it aside. This is going to act as your stem for your flower. We're going to be making the leaves for the stem next. Another thing that was not included in your kit would be a pencil. You don't have to draw out the shape of the leaves first. It's just a preference, and if you need a little bit of a guide to help you. But I am going to draw out the shape of my leaf first. You're going to want just a simple shape, something just like this, where it curves and points right at the top. Very symmetrical on both sides. You're going to want something like this. However many leaves you want for one stem, I'm actually going to make 2 for mine. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out another one. And then this is one of those steps that those scissors are going to come in handy for. I'm just going to quickly cut these out, and I'll show you how to put them on your stem in just a moment. Alright, so as you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've just made a little crease right at one of the ends of the leaves. You can choose not to do this, it's completely up to you, but I'm just going to do this to give it a little bit of a shape. And what you can do is actually take your glue stick, if you choose to do this, and put a little bit of glue on the inside of that crease, just like that, and you're going to stick the 2 ends together. You might need a little piece of tape or something to hold that in place while it dries for a little bit, but it's actually going to come in handy for when we use the floral tape to attach these leaves to your stem. But I'm going to show you in just a second after I'm done gluing these leaves. So as you can see, these leaves dried and took their shape the way I wanted them to be. So now I'm just going to make sure that whatever floral tape I use is sticky enough to wrap around this base of the leaf and then put it onto my stem. You're going to want a little piece, not too big, just about that big. You're going to take one of your leaves, wrap one of the corners of the tape, do it one more time over top, take your stem and your leaf, you're going to just kind of wrap it around so it's secured onto your stem. May take a little bit of a trial and error to get it positioned to where you want it, but once that first one is on there, and if you chose to make a second one, you're going to do the same thing and tape it right next to it. So now what we're going to do is take our pipe cleaner here, and again, this is where your scissors are going to come in handy. We're going to be making the little middle part of your flower that peeks out through the middle of the petal that we're going to make. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to either cut this in half or cut this in to fourths, just depending on how big, whoops, I want that middle part to be. So I'm just going to cut that just like that. And we're going to fold it in half. That's going to make the little loop that's going to be in the middle of our flower. And the fun thing about this is, since it's wire, we don't really need the floral tape in order to secure it down. All we have to do is take it like this and wrap it around and then adjust it to wherever that needs to go. But I'm just going to keep wrapping that around like this, putting that right in the middle like that. Make whatever adjustments you need to make to have it look like what you'd like it to be, and I'm pretty happy with that right there. Don't worry about this little bit right here. That's obviously going to be covered by that petal that we're going to be making. But without further ado, I'm going to get started on that petal now. Here I have my colored paper of choice, and as you can see, it is going to be a rectangular shape, but we need a square to start out with this. So what you're going to do is take one of the corners, fold it up, and match it with one of the edges on the other side. Just like this. Make a little crease like that. And you're actually going to want to cut off the excess on this side here, just because once we unfold this triangular shape, it's going to be a square. Set that aside. And as you can see, we have a nice square shape. But you are going to want to keep that folded down like this and choose whichever side you want to cut. I have my fold on my left side and my point on my right side, and we're actually going to take our scissors and make a curved line just like this around our triangle, just like that. This is going to help so it will actually make kind of a flat heart shape, and so when we turn it like this, it's going to make a nice little round flower cone like that. I am going to actually cut off a little bit here just because I don't want it that tall. So I'm going to cut off a little edge like that. And now this should line up just like that. And you see how that's going to be like a nice curved little edge for your flower. Another tip would be you could try to curve it inwards like this, and I'm actually going to do that just so I have a little bit of a front opening to show my little nub in the middle here. So I'm actually going to just do that really quick. It's all up to you of what you want your flower to look like. If you don't want that little front opening, that's totally fine. But if you do, I suggest making that little curve down in the middle, just like that. So now we have a nice little cone that's going to go right on our flower. But first, I'm actually going to take my glue stick and see where this lines up here. I'm going to put glue right here. Get a good amount on there, make sure it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to make that cone shape right over top where my glue is. Just like that. And so now we have a nice front open set of petals for our flower. The way you're going to actually place this petal onto your stem is to just simply poke this right through, get it to where you'd want it. Make sure that pipe cleaner is completely covered. And you can either make the hole at the bottom smaller, or you can simply fold your paper in just like this. And that's going to make a nice curly Q on the inside just like that. And then what you're going to want to do is take your floral tape, and I should have cut a piece before I measured out where I wanted that petal to fold. Get a decent size, maybe 3-4 inches long. You want this to be pretty secure, and I'm going to set that down and just refold it later. You're just going to snip whatever size you need, and ever so carefully place your petal in the position you want it on your flower, and just wrap the tape right along to secure your petal to your stem. And you're going to want to go all the way down in order to completely close that gap that formed earlier before you attached your petal. You can adjust your petals however you'd like. I'm just going to kind of flare mine out a little bit at the ends here. And another cool thing you can do is actually add more leaves towards the top here. You don't have to do that. I'm not going to with this one. But after you're done with this first flower, you can go back to the beginning of the video and actually redo all of the steps with the rest of your colored paper, because you actually should have enough material to make 2 more flowers, so you would have a total of 3. Alright everybody, that concludes this week's craft video for the Adult Summer Reading Program. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I would really love to see what you guys came up with. If you want to post a picture down below in the comments, that would be awesome. But we've got our little flowers here, and I'm sure they look great. Again, I hope you guys had a lot of fun and learned a little bit of something new on how to craft something that you really like. Stay tuned for next week. On July 22nd, we will be doing windowsill gardens. For you plant lovers out there, if you just want a nice little herb garden for your kitchen right on your windowsill, that's going to be a great one to look out for. But until then, I'll catch you later, guys. See ya.